Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
How you doing?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
So I just
Halfway through the week,
oh my goodness, it's hump day.
right?
Why do you think I picked Wednesdays to do my show?
Oh, I don't know why I picked Mondays. God, I'm sorry.
Hi, everybody that's in the chat already. Thank
Yep.
you.
Couple people jumping in.
So Tom, Mr.
Yes,
Tom Springer,
yes, ma'am.
um, he is I just want to say hello to everybody out there. I'm streaming on a new network now, Parapost Network as well. Hi, Jason, and hi, Meg. Paranormal Brew is every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I also am third owner of BB3 TV, and Tom has a show on BB3 TV.
Correct.
Things I never learned
Stuff
in
I never learned from a school
from a
book.
school book, right?
Yeah.
Stuff I never learned from a school book. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, but just for all of our new people watching and people that don't know you, can you just give us a little background
Um,
of the Springer? You're not related to Jerry Springer.
I can neither
I've
confirm nor
learned
deny that. I can neither confirm nor deny that. I may be related to a Springer Spaniel. We don't know that either. Um, so the Springer.
Yeah.
This guy is about to be 50. Woo, 50. 50, Taryn. I'm about to be 50.
Uh,
Oh
the
my
beard, keep the beard, you'll be good.
goodness.
The beard,
I can't
Nicole
really.
knows. Does she know how much does Nikki know how much I love your beard?
Nikki knows how much you love the beard. She knows that you love the beard almost as much as you love her. Yes.
I think I
So
love her a
those
little
who
more.
don't know who Nikki is, for those who don't know who we're talking about, that's actually my wife. And she'll be showing her face in here in a little bit, but she's kind of busy right now. So,
I
but
always make her show her face.
yep, she'll pop in to say hi here in a little bit. But, anyways, excuse me. Like she said, my name's Tom Springer. Um, I am prior military. Um, wow,
Thank you.
let's see.
Thank you for your service. Now, you're just not prior military.
You want me to go into it?
You were like a big deal in the military.
You
I
want me
mean,
to go?
you could just give whatever you can give, you know what I mean? I don't know if we talked about this before because you did come on my show before, but um did you have experiences while you were in like active like in the active duty and stuff? Like were you I mean, I know
For
are you technically active duty still?
No, now I'm actually a government civilian that works for the military. But I'm what's considered. I work for the department. I actually fall under the Department of Defense right now.
Okay, so the
So
Department of Defense. Okay.
yes, so I'm still working as a government worker, and I've been military. So I've been in and around the military for, let's do quick math, um, 32 years. Yeah, since I was
32.
18. So
Awesome.
do the math really quick. 50 minus 18. So, yep, 32. So there you go.
So while you're in the military, did you ever
Have any kind
because
of.
I know that I've heard of military people, you know what I mean, in
So,
certain
okay.
areas.
Yep. We can talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
When I was in, I worked outside the wire, which means I was mobile, very mobile. Um, I did 48 different countries in 8 years. So we were very mobile. I was lead of a team. Um, thanks, honey.
I wanted to leave that up there a little long for you.
I saw that. Thanks. Appreciate it. Um, but I was lead of our team. And you can hear her laughing in the background. And while we were on, a lot of times when we went out and we were around, um, I would stop just out of nowhere. I would just stop and I'd stop our team. And I'm like, all right, something's up. Just go somewhere. Just hide yourself out. And we would. And sure enough, I don't know if you want to call it a sixth sense or some kind of feeling. Hi, Zhang, or whatever else.
Ajing, is checking in from Indonesia, everybody. I just wanted to give her a shout. I always have to give her a shout out.
We
I'm
always
sorry,
give
Josh.
the Jing a shout
I
out.
have to because I love her.
So,
And she's like a trooper. She follows me. No, I'll be on a show. There she is. You know what I mean? She's been following me. So she's like probably like my kindred spirit animal from Indonesia. And we're like really sisters or something. I don't even know. But
she's doing that with me now too. It's fantastic. But I think
I
it's
know,
just,
isn't it great?
it's
She's
just
great.
tied through you. I think I'm somewhere in that loop.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. So
right.
Indonesia is watching Paranormal Brew right now. So thank you, Ajing. Thank
Yes.
you. So go ahead.
But I would have, like I said, like almost like that sixth sense or something, that something was about to happen. And I'd hunker down, I'd have our team hunker down, and sure enough, either a patrol would come by or something would happen to where it's a good thing we were hiding or just basically not in sight at that point, because either we were outgunned, we were outmanned, it was just a bad situation. We did not have the correct high ground or whatever else to take on whatever that was at that point. So I don't know if I now I chalk it up to that, because there's a lot of times now that I'm out of the military where it seems I have a lot of foresight about what's going to happen before it happens. And it's even, thanks, Aaron. And it even comes down to something stupid and simple as what's about to be said on TV, or what's about to happen in traffic or something like that. So I kind of have that readiness. My mentor, she tells me it's chalked up to the fact that I have a very high vibration. She said I have a very high vibration that gives me the ability to kind of foresee the future slightly. If I worked with it more, I'd be able to see further into it. But that's not.
Yeah, but so like when you were in the military, though, that was, were you thinking that was just part of your training? Like you're just thinking like on the shit, like, dude, I know when stuff's gonna happen. I'm on point.
Something's not right. The birds aren't chirping. Something's not right. It's time. Something's in the area besides us. Right.
So you at that point are like I'm probably the best military dude that could be out here right now.
I am the man, the myth, the legend. Turns out I was only mostly myth. So
Tom, we natives call it nomadic. Nighthawk is saying
true.
hi.
Yeah. What's up, William? How you doing, brother? Oh, look, Australia calling in.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Angela. But yeah, so back in the military, like I said, I didn't know what it was. I just thought, like I said, I thought I was the man, the myth, the legend. I knew it all the ins, all the outs. Apparently not. I was shot twice, so apparently I didn't know everything. Didn't know how to dodge a bullet. Those things are fast. Did you know that?
Yeah, you don't see those coming.
Bullets are fast. Man, who knew?
You know, if you think about it, if something hasn't happened yet, you got some time to like think about it.
Right.
Bullets, you just don't.
They kind of happen. They just kind of happen. They just kind of come into your life in a hurry.
Yes. So you're in the military. You're like basically being able to foresee things or sense things, if you will.
Yes.
And at that moment, you're thinking, okay, this is just my military training, my background, which is awesome to have where you're at now.
Right. It is.
To have that.
Yes.
And now, did you start noticing that stuff on your own? Like you started noticing that you were being able to, like outside of the military?
Yes, but it wasn't. I've always had it. I've always known it. Like it's just to me it was normal. To me it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything that.
But was it a spiritual thing for you, or was it just you just thought this was your makeup?
It wasn't. I just knew I just thought, I just chalked it up to everything. Even when I was younger, even before the military, stuff like this happened to me. To where I could sense, like I was always good at dodging traffic. I've never been hit by anything. I've always been good at when it seems. So the best way to describe it for me is before it happens or as it's happening, everything slows down very slow to me. And I can see it all happening as it happens or right before it happens. So I kind of know how to move, or I kind of know how to adjust.
Wait a second. That's like, I've seen movies like this.
Yeah, and that's what it feels like. I mean, I literally everything slows down. It's like if you ever watched
That movie with Denzel. That's what I started thinking about. That movie
yeah,
with Denzel where he does he counts, but like everything slows down. He's like counting the people in the
right.
room. He's
Yep.
looking at like, you
That's
know.
that's kind of what it's like. It's that's pretty much what it's like to me. It just slows down, and I'm just like, all right, I know. Like, it almost gives me a second to look around and go, all right, well, this is kind of cool. Like, I know what I'm about to happen, so, and I know how to step away from it. And
Right.
that again, that was, I didn't know anything about it, but Joni, who is the one that helped me out the most in the beginning, once I actually understood that I had abilities,
Yeah.
she's the one who said, yeah, you've always had this. This is built into you. It's something you've had for a long time. It's never going to go away. And it's because of your higher vibration. She goes, your vibration is so much higher than anyone else's that I'm used to seeing that I can only help you to a point because my limits stop at the vibrations. So
Well, all right. So you might have answered this,
go ahead.
but how did you get hooked up with Joan? Like, how did you get from that to talking to somebody that can help you with your what it is that you're experiencing?
So about a year ago, January, a couple of our friends asked us to become part of their paranormal investigation team.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all friends. And at this point, I have no idea at all that I have any abilities whatsoever. And we're doing a group chat online. I'm not in there, but Nikki's in there. She's talking to a bunch of the members of our team, and Joni's in there. I've never seen Joni a day in my life, never heard her name before. But I walked behind the computer screen. I look down and I see her picture. I see her video, her live, and I go, "Hey, that's Joni." And everyone kind of stops. And they're like, "How do you know Joni?" I go, "I don't know, but I know who she is, and her name is Joni." And she goes, "Yeah, my name's Joni." So they were like, "Well, how do you know that?" And we're like, "Oh, I think it's something tied to our past lives. We think we've been part of each other's past lives for so long."
So did you see the question Darren put up? I'm happy Darren's here. He always has amazing questions.
Hey, Darren, what's going on, brother?
So he says, while you were in the military, did your past life regressions come into play? And I know, I mean, it's just weird that you brought that up, but that was one of his questions. So continue. If you can kind of answer that.
So let me go back to Darren's. Darren, I do not know about my past life regressions. I have been told by I've been told by a Reiki master that I am ancient, and I have been told by a earth elemental that my essence was older than he was, or older than he is, and he actually ran away from me. But as far as my past life regressions, what they are specifically, I don't know. All I know is that apparently I've been around older than dirt. So that's kind of crazy that's what I'm dealing with. And that's a lot of what I'm being told by people. Thanks, William. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're confirming that as well. And then I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of where I was going. Oh, because of Joni. And I just found Joni. And I was like, this is Joni right here. And they're like, how do you know Joni? I have no clue how I know who she is. And we started talking, and it was like we've been related. Like we never missed a beat. It's like if you were friends with someone in elementary school and you guys ran into each other 40 years later and you talk like you never missed a beat. That's exactly what it was like. And then she became my friend, and then my guide, and then my mentor all at that time. And she started telling me, pay attention to these things that may happen to you. And then we went on our first investigation, and I started talking about the people I could see and the voices I could hear. And we have 2 psychic mediums on our team that were there at that time, and they were both like, what do you mean you can hear this? I'm like, well, I'm getting the voices in my head about what they're saying, and this is what they look like, and this is how they're dressed, and blah, blah, blah.
But that hasn't happened before, right?
That had never happened before. Right.
So your first investigation, you're like full blown, like hearing
full blown open
in your head,
everything. And then the 2 people I was with, and they were like, that's insane
Mhm.
because that's what we see and we hear. How are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm standing in the house with you guys, and this is what's going on. And they were like, well, you have something, so she's not wrong. And
So
then
is this like part of like let's come out to an investigation with us and let's see what happens
no,
or
it was just a couple of our friends wanted us to be on an investigation team with them to go see if we can catch cool shit,
yeah,
on video or audio or anything else. We had no clue, zero thought that I had any ability because I hadn't had anything all the way up until this time. And like I said, I hadn't chalked up my military stuff or my ability to dodge stuff as part of paranormal at all.
right. Right.
So
Yeah.
when we walked in and all of a sudden stuff starts talking to me and I can see the images, I'm explaining what they look like and what they're dressed as and everything else. And they were like, whoa, uh, that's a little more than just coming to investigate. And I was like, okay, what do I do with it?
Right.
And then,
Well, so beforehand though, did you do anything to like protection wise or like
I,
meditation wise or anything like that? Or you're just like, all right, let's do this. Let's get
I
this over
never have.
with.
Nope, I never have. I got there,
Neither.
they talked about grounding, they talked about all this other stuff. And I'm like, ah, I don't think so. I'm good. I'm just here to investigate. Um,
Yeah.
and then speaking with I went to a Reiki and speaking with her, she was like, well, the reason you don't do those things is because you're so old and you're so ancient and you've been doing this so many times, you can open and close and protect yourself and heal others just by thinking about it. You don't have to prep yourself like some people do for 10 minutes to get ready to open or have to close down for 5-10 minutes. You're just open, okay, cool, close, cool. You need to push energy to someone, here you go, type of
Right.
thing. So it just kind of happens, and I did not know that before, but uh, 3 different people have told me that, and none of them know each other.
Hmm.
So it was pretty interesting that they all came to that conclusion that that was what it was. And then we learned I did something that I thought was normal for psychic mediums, but then just recently I was told no, that's not normal at all. Um, that's something that only one of the persons she met has been able to do, and I can actually see elementals. I can physically see them with my eyes. I can describe them for you. It's not like a thought in my head,
But
like
so
it is.
how are they different?
Um, as far as, well, elementals were never human.
Okay.
They're from the four points, from the wind, the water, the earth, and the fire, and they're not always friendly. They're not always good. um,
As with like any spirit,
right,
I mean, like if a go like I don't know what word to use, but I'm just gonna say, a ghost.
right,
Okay. They can
yeah,
be they can, I think if they were assholes here, they're gonna be assholes there.
right,
So I mean,
yeah. But it was we the first time I figured it out was when we were on another investigation, and one of my teammates, one of her spirit guides is a fire elemental. And I told her, your fire elemental is standing over this shoulder. Here's what he looks like. Here's what he's doing. And she was like, how do you do that? And I go, I'm watching him. I can see him physically with my eyes. It's not a mental picture. The elementals I can actually see with my eyes. It's not forming a picture in my head like it did with the spirits. It's a little different. And
so are they also like guardian angels?
they can be.
Is
They
that what you were seeing with her? Like, because you're saying
for,
your
for hers,
fire.
for hers, it's a guide. For hers, it's one of
That's
her.
what I mean, guide.
Yeah, for one of hers, it's a spiritual guide. Um,
And is
and
that
it's
normal?
and it's kind of her protector. Not, I don't know. I've only known her to have the only one that I've known it. But like I said, I've only been doing this for a year, so I don't know. I haven't had the full experience yet of everything I hope to still come across in this whole adventure that I'm on.
Mhm.
But she's the only one that I know of that I've seen that actually has an elemental as a guide. But I have been told that yes, elementals can be guides for other people as well.
Oh, wow.
So
So how do you but how can you tell the difference between an elemental and I mean, like, are you only seeing the elementals and that's why you know that it's an elemental? Or is it that
So I know it's not a spirit because the spirits come to me in pictures, and I normally explain the spirit to people as some kind of celebrity that they've seen. I go, oh, this person looks like so and so. This person looks like so and so, and
okay.
that's the best way I can tell them. But I can tell them what they're wearing. I can tell them what they sound like. I can tell them a lot of different things. But as far as just description, I mean, I can give you a. He's 5'7". He's probably about 145 pounds. He's wearing a hat. Excuse me. He's dressed like he's in the 50s. But when it comes to the face, it normally shows up to me kind of like an ancestor of one of those celebrities that I can explain.
Okay.
Thing. But yeah, so that's how they show up. But I haven't come across anything else outside of the elementals. I just see with my eyes. It doesn't mean I can't. I just haven't come across anything else at this point that I see with my eyes outside of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've had one person on, only one, that has had encounters and researches others that have had encounters with angels. I've
Oh
never
yeah.
heard of it, right?
Yeah.
So I've had one person with that, and I mean maybe elementals are your calling.
Right.
Maybe that's what you're supposed to. That's what is your thing.
Maybe. So I'm gonna crosstalk here with shows because you bring that up, and on the 21st, she's actually on here watching. I actually have Patricia McDowell on, and
Oh, okay.
her big thing is angels. She says she can see angels, and
Oh,
she associates and
interesting.
she interacts with the angels. So it's funny you bring that up because she's actually on here, and she's going to be on my show on Monday.
Well, then I'm gonna look forward to watching that because, like I said, I've had one person on that has interacted or has had or helps people that have had interactions with angels.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll watch that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
it's funny William brings this up because that's actually what I was going to say is that
yeah.
elemental. That's why I'm saying they're not spirits as far as they used to be human, but they're environmental. Basically, they come from the environment. You'll hear that the earth elementals are the ones that help heal the ground. They're the ones that do their because the earth elemental I ran into was in a basement of a house. Then the basement was half dirt, half concrete. The reason I ran into him is because I have one of my friends moved into the house. Before that, a house flipper owned it and tore up the basement. And when she got there, she senses things, but she doesn't really have any other abilities outside of sensing them. And it scared her because it was just so overwhelming. And it was so mad about the earth being ripped up by what the flipper was doing. He wasn't taking anything out on her. He was just very mad, but his presence was just so gargantuan that she felt his presence and she was scared. So she's like, I think this thing wants me out of the house. So I went in, I went down to the basement and I talked to it. And no,
you saw it?
It ran from me when I first got there. It took off from me because and it's funny because these things are huge, but they can fit into very small places. But when I walked in, I was with 3 or 4 other people, and I told them, don't come in here. Stay out here. And I went ahead and walked in, and he ran from me. And as he was running, that's when he told me, your essence is older than I am. So we had a little discussion about who was upstairs and what happened and everything else. Well, during it, he actually threw a stone at me, and it hit the pillar right next to me, and the people that were out in the other room heard it hit. And they're like, what was that? And I'm like, he just threw a rock at me because he's mad I'm here. And he tried to be aggressive. And then I enlightened him that I had no fear of him at all.
I was going to say, like, I know you and you're not afraid of anything.
I'm too dumb to know any better. I'm not afraid.
Right.
So, and then what I did is actually put my fingers into his earth. And I buried my hands basically all the way up to the knuckles. And I went, all right, well, you can feel the energy I have. you want to play this game? And he goes, well, there's more than one of me. And I said, no, there's not. I can tell. I can see you. There's only one of you. And his shoulders kind of slumped and he kind of dropped his head. And he goes, okay, what's our compromise? So after we talked about it, he was perfectly happy with the people in the house. He likes the land because there's a lot of farmland out behind the house. They have horses, they have a mule, they have goats. I mean, it's a full-fledged farm. And he was just mad because the house was getting ripped up on this farmland.
Wow, could you imagine a native, like an Indian spirit and an elemental earth?
There are
Earth elemental, like what kind of shitstorm?
That property has tons of Native American ties to it. When we walked the land, we actually walked the land out back. The guy who actually owns all the property walked me around out back. It was his daughter who lives next door to him and had the problem with the house. So I came over and helped her, and then we walked the land. And I could, well, most likely you could too, but I could very definitely tell you when I stopped and I looked around at a certain area, I'm like, they walk right through here. The spirits still walk right through here. And they walk up to the top of the horizon and they oversee the horizon either in the morning or at night or both to thank Mother Earth and everything else for what they've given them. And it's almost like they're repeating the process even in death. But behind that is a huge open field. So that would be where they were hunting, but where they were coming through was a lot of forested areas. So that's where they could hide before the hunt happened. Gotcha. So you can see where they would walk up. You could actually feel it. It was almost like a repetitive every day. Right. I know that William will be able to talk about that one too. So,
so would you say that they would be able to cohabitate the Indian spirits and these earth elementals? I mean, it sounds like
no, they can't.
It sounds like they're similar. Like they want the earth taken care of or the grounds taken care of,
and that's why there's that cohesiveness there between them. The Native Americans are friendly with all of the different elements, all the different elementals. They'll get along with any of them
because because they are earth.
Because that's what they do. I mean, right. They're very much all about nature and loving and everything else of the earth. So no one has a problem with them. With the Native, none of the elementals have a problem with the Native Americans. Unless they did something absolutely horrible, but that's very few and far between. All right, Ajang, what do you got?
Wait. Okay. I want you to answer Ajang's question, but wait.
Yes.
Wait, so William, we read this one, right? And so
yes.
Elementals were spiritual power of environment. All right, yes. So would you say that everybody could possibly have an elemental guide, like the people that are more connected with? So like my grounding, my peace, my sanity, my like.
Yours is up on the hill.
Yeah, at Gettysburg, right? So it's very earthy. It's very like. Much. So
I don't know. I don't know if you can say everybody could have a elemental guide, but they may have an elemental that's more. An elemental element, fire, water, earth, air, that's more geared toward them.
Well, do you think it goes with their sign?
I see that a lot. Okay. I don't think so. My belief is I don't think so because I see a lot of that, but at least in recordings and writings and everything else, but for me, it really has to do with what you are, what you do.
Right.
Hi, Liz. But I think it really ties into the fact of what you do with it in your world. I mean, are you someone who lives on the beach, is around water, and so that's your element? You just all you want to do is surf and hang out at the beach, even though your sign is an earth sign. You know, maybe you're a Taurus and you're not a Cancer,
right?
So, and I think it's kind of the element that you're in.
So it's safe to say this fire elemental was a good elemental.
Yes, the one that was with her was a good elemental. Yes.
So what would be the so the Indian spirits, right?
Yes.
They kind of like the theory is they kick up activity. They do like, they come off as being angry or negative, but it's because like, the people that are living on the property aren't taking care of
Right.
the land, right?
Right.
So what would be a good elemental's reasoning for being somewhere?
That earth elemental could have been there for a long time, but when the earth was disturbed, it brought him about. It basically awoken
It's
him.
basically like,
Yeah, it basically like awoken him. He's like, "Whoa, someone's tearing up my earth. I got to fix this. This is supposed to be farm. This is supposed to be farmland. Why are you ripping up my land?" And so his process is just to, and I call him a him, even though it could be, I don't know what you want to call it, a he or she, but a lot of people associate the water with the female, the earth with the male type of things. Like, guys name their cars girls and stuff like that. Give them a girl name, stuff like that. But
see, I always name my car girls' names. I name Kitty. I name them Kitty. I say this kid's sidekick.
My name is Grace. So, yeah, my big old beautiful truck name is Grace. But I don't. So that's why I think that elementals, when they're angry or excuse me, or they're not really violent. I mean, they can be, but it's due to something that man has done.
Yeah.
That are tied to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got that one right.
Yeah. So let the sleeping creatures sleep. Oh, somebody's calling them creatures. So let the sleeping creatures, aka elemental, sleep.
Yep. We never got to Ajang's question.
Yes. So wait, what does this mean? I don't even know what this means. He did a typo. He had to have.
Maybe he's saying that his elemental or his spirit guide is Taryn.
Oh, well, I mean, I do know one of my spirit guides for sure, but I just didn't. I don't know anything about elementals. I hear people talk about them. The first time I've ever heard that word was Ghost Hunters International. When Barry, I don't know if you're familiar with that, with the show. I always watched everything Ghost Hunters back in the day. So Ghost Hunters International, they were somewhere in, I think, Ireland, and it was when Barry was on the show, and they actually got a picture of a face.
Oh yeah.
And he named his car Taryn.
Oh, okay. A Mitsubishi Murano. Got it.
But now I forget what I was saying.
Talking about ghost hunters.
Oh yeah, and there was a picture.
Right.
But they were saying, oh, cool. So Raymond says he remembers that episode. I remember. And they actually, they got this picture, but Barry was seeing elementals. And that was the first time I ever heard of that. I had no idea what it was.
Right.
Nor did I, at that point in time, ever care to really look into it. And then it wasn't until Jump Ahead, I'm a part of South Jersey Ghost Research, and we're at Rolling Hills Asylum, and somebody there says, I saw an elemental. Right. So then I'm like, to me, it sounds like elemental. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody or whatever, you know what I mean? But elementals and fairies and stuff like that almost seem fantasy to me and not.
Yeah. And that's fair. I mean, that's
not saying that they don't exist. I mean, I trust you 100%. Right. And if you're telling me you saw something, I believe you.
I will tell you that, boy, I might even have it right here on me. I don't know. My team went on an investigation that I couldn't go on because I had to work. But I did watch it, but I didn't watch it till the next day. And I watched their video. And I didn't know I had this ability either until this actually happened. I don't have the drawing. I wish I did. I watched the video and I paused it. And me and Nikki were watching it. And I go, hold on a second. She goes, what? And I started drawing this huge being from the side. And she goes, and they're like, what are you doing? I go, I'm drawing out what I'm seeing. And this is an elemental. And like I said, this is 14 hours later watching through a video like this that's actually recorded already. So I'm picking up images through a recording, and they're hundreds of miles away. And I send it out to the team, and I'm up pretty early, and they finally respond back and they're like, "No way!" And I'm like, "What?" And they sent back a picture of what one of our mediums drew out, and our drawings are almost completely identical of what the earth elemental looked like, because they actually felt like they can feel it and they can see it in their mind, like I do spirits.
Right.
So Jessie was able to sketch that out to what she saw, but they put my drawing up next to hers, and they were almost identical, and we were nowhere close to each other as far as physically.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I call him Nighthawk. I think Nighthawk.
Everyone does. I think I'm the only one who calls him William.
I call him Nighthawk. I think
so,
it's cool.
So here's something that's interesting, that I don't know how people on the show are going to feel about this, but I'm just going to tell you anyways.
Okay, it's my show. I mean, seriously,
right.
It's no holds barred.
The information that I tell you, the stuff that the logic I come up with and the facts I have, I've never researched this a day in my life. It just comes to me in my head, and there's a voice in my head saying, "This is correct. What you are saying is correct. Go with what your gut says. Go with what your heart says. Go with what your head says, because what you're saying is correct." And which is very comforting to me, because the first couple of times I did that, I actually went back and researched a couple of things and went, "Am I talking about the right thing here?" And I'd flip through a book and I'd check out a line, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, woohoo, got it right." But like the elemental stuff, I've never looked up a thing in my life. I just have the feeling that when I talk to you about this is what it is, this is how it works.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
And like, what's crazy is I don't know many people that know that much about elementals. I'm not around it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe this is your calling.
Yeah. It's weird because there's so much more that that I'm able to do that we're just still figuring out as far as abilities. Thank you.
I know. It seems like you I mean, I agree with her 1000%.
But it was so, Zhang, that's a very good point. I honestly think this is based on culture, as far as where your elementals come from. I believe elementals existed just like everyone had dragons and everyone had all these different mythical creatures, that a lot of people say those didn't exist, but now we can basically say, yeah, elementals do exist. But how on earth did everyone know how to draw a dragon when no one was able to get to each other through through anything else? But I really think a lot of it somehow has been pushed around into your different cultures as far as what your elementals come from.
Yeah.
So
Tara needs to do a good sweet.
Oh yeah. What do you think? 48 hours, is that long enough there, William? Put in a 48-hour sweat
I
line?
am very, very, but because of Gettysburg, that's how I know I'm very connected with the earth.
Oh yeah, just the way you talk about it, you can tell you're just drawn to it. And that,
but even like I love thunder, like anything nature, thunderstorms, anything that like lunar eclipses, meteor showers, like everything that goes on with the universe, and like the and the only place that can calm me I don't know if I'm on a new network, so I don't know if I can.
We can dig it out.
Anything that just can calm me down.
Yeah.
It's there. It's Gettysburg. It's so I definitely know that. And
that's actually when you write about it, when you post pictures and you write about it, people read it, but I can actually feel it with you. I can feel your connection to it. So, and it's just by the way you write and by the way the pictures are, because you never have a picture of you totally. You have a picture of you, like that one you have when you're laying down. You can see part of your legs crossed over, but you have the rock, and then you're overlooking all of the forest with the beautiful sky in the background.
Yeah, a little round.
I told you I pay attention. So, but you can tell by that and the way you write about what it is, that that's what that is almost like your zen. That's
Oh,
that's your
1000%.
grounding. That's your calmness. That's your peace at that location.
For sure.
You can do it at other locations, but that's the one that you have designated. This is mine. This is where I'm going to come to unwind, to let everything go, and to get back in touch with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Um, Paranormal King, hey Ross. Um, some people say Hinsdale House has elements. Yeah. Well, I'm going in September, so we'll say I'm being forced to go in September actually.
I
Um,
I have not been there.
Jay, okay. You're not alone on this. Jay Hill says you're not alone on this. That's the way I get some information and then question why do I know that?
Right? It's just bizarre how it seems like, and I for me, my big belief is this ties to my past lives. I've known it before, so therefore I know it now, and it's basically being brought back up because we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And my body and my mind and my energy goes, you already know about this. Why are you questioning this? Say what you know because you already know it. And I think that's our past lives reminding us, guess what? This isn't your first life. And this
Right.
isn't your last. So
Well, I mean, this is interesting. I want to keep talking about it. I want to ask Ajing's first question, but I want to keep talking about this because this is interesting. I don't think I've ever talked about like just elementals on
right,
the show,
right.
you know. So I mean, because there's Erin has a question too. I just learned you can star questions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, welcome. Good job.
Welcome to my next lesson of StreamYard.
Yes, we got her. She's learned something tonight. Besides elementals, she's learned something
I
tonight.
know, I'm learning so much. I love it. Every show I learn something, which is
Right?
why I love doing it. Yeah, Jay, I was talking to Jay Hill one day and he was saying about we were talking about our dreams, and I said sometimes because I'm a water sign, I'm a Pisces,
I am too.
but
Yep.
I love water. I love thunderstorms. I love
Yep.
the rain. I love water, but I'm also scared to death of water,
Oh, okay.
which is weird, right? I have never been on a cruise. I've had dreams of drowning, like, and
Hmm.
I'm underwater holding my breath, but like I wake up gasping for air. But then there's sometimes where I don't wake up and eventually I just start breathing underwater.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I've had a lot of nightmares of underwater and drowning, or I mean like even like I had like an out of like an in my dream out of body, like because I was like looking at myself,
Right.
and I was
Yep.
in this pool and something, and all of a sudden the pool had like all this like seaweed and dirt, and it was just like it looked like then I was like in a swamp or lake, and something pulled me down,
Oh yeah.
and I could see it. So I've had like a lot of crazy shit with water,
Right.
So I mean, like when I was asking you that question about is your sign might be related to maybe something,
Right.
like the elemental, like I feel like me and my water elemental probably would be going not getting along too well. I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
and that could be. I mean, I this one I just don't know. If you're fighting with the water elemental, that's on you.
well,
It's not
I
fighting with the
think
water elemental.
what Nicole said is what I actually think. I mean, I think maybe
Right.
in a past life
And
I
that's
drowned or
very
something.
true. Yep. Very true. So I'm a Pisces as well. You know this.
Mhm.
And water is huge for me. But surprisingly enough, the other one I like the most, even with the beard, I really love wind. I am probably.
Me
I
too, but
mean,
I like the summer wind.
I don't care. I just love wind. If there's wind during a snowstorm or during a thunderstorm, fantastic. But if it's just windy, just to be windy, I'm all for it. It doesn't bother me at all. I stand out in it, and I just kind of do this number and kind of look up and say, "All right, come on, bring it on." Terrible for my golf game. Horrible if you ride a motorcycle, but it's really
No,
stuck,
I mean,
really stuck on the gas if you're driving into it, not with it. But I love the wind and I love the water.
I love and I'm that way, but I love if I open up my windows in my house and the
Right, and
breeze
it
and
just
the wind is
blows
just coming through.
through. Yep, it's
I
almost like
much rather
that's almost like you're cleansing. It's almost like you don't even need sage. You just open it up and let the wind take it
I
all
love
out.
it.
Yep.
I much rather have fresh air flowing through my house than air conditioning.
Correct.
I'd
I
much
would too.
rather have all my car windows down than have the air conditioner on. Like, I
Yep.
just, barring that it's not too hot where I want to like stab somebody, you know what
Or
I
too
mean?
cold.
But
Or too cold.
or
I'm
cold.
dumb. I'm dumb enough that drives with my windows down because it's 30 degrees outside, but I'm fine because I have a heater inside my truck. So I'll turn the heater on and roll my windows down and just drive like that.
Bleh, Nicole, I hate wind. I love fire. Fire.
She does. Yes. It hasn't really been cold enough here too often that I've had to build a fire in our fireplace this year. Um, but normally that's the big thing when the winters around here hit. And if they get ugly, we build fires in the fireplace for her. So,
All right. So before we go to, oh man, there's another elemental question, but then we'll go to Ijing. Ijing, I
okay,
promise I'll go to your thing. Because then there's a question from Aaron too. So I have, because now I have them starred. I know.
Darren, I don't believe so.
So Darren is, can elementals split up into two different things and have two different identities?
Yes, I don't believe so. I believe an elemental is an elemental. I do not believe if you break an elemental off, it will form another elemental. I do believe that elementals over long, ancient amounts of time will pass. And that's just simply by either doing what they're supposed to do, what they came here to do, or just simply by age. And when I say age, I'm talking millennial. I'm talking a long, long time for them to pass. But I do not believe they can split and have a couple of personalities on their own. I believe that, I do know that, it's not a belief, I have seen it, that elementals are not necessarily individual, like they're not lone wolves. They will be in groups if they need to, or if they want to, if there's large earth structures that they need to take care of. The Iowa Mounds, there's something that's in between Native Americans and elementals that live out in those Iowa Mounds. And I think they're the right in between of those two things, of the elementals and the Native Americans. I think they're another existing being that's right there. I believe they're assisting Earth elementals, but they're also more of the protectors of when the Earth elementals work, or what they're working on.
Wow.
So
that's some deep shit.
Sorry, my bad.
No, this is like all. So do you think that these, so now I have had a couple of times where I've predicted, no, I don't want to say predicted. I've had dreams of natural disasters and they happen like 2 or 3 weeks later.
You can call that predicted. You have had a knowing that something was going to happen. You were told either by a spirit guide, you were told by a protector, you were told by someone that something's going to happen, and it's a kind of like your early warning beacon for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it is. It's I don't want to say it's a premonition.
Yeah, but that's what it feels, because it was like
so
it was like TV it made it on TV. It
right.
Was like,
so
were
we
like
think,
big news.
So the only reason I say I don't like the word premonition is because I think something around you told you what it was. I don't think it came from you yourself. I think a spirit guide or something else told you what was going to happen. And that's why I don't want to use the word premonition. I think you were told. I think you had a knowing of what was going to happen because something brought it to your attention and said, keep an eye out for this because this is going to happen.
Yeah, but you know what though? It was things that weren't even, there was only one of them was near me. The rest of it was,
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
They're not telling you for your protection. They're telling you so you know. Oh.
Totem Animals. Okay, wait. What I missed what you were saying are in between the elemental and the
Native American.
Yeah. What did you say was in the middle?
there is another being, another life. Um, it's not human. It's along the lines of elementals, but it is kind of like a lesser elemental. It is something that helps the elementals do what they're supposed to do and help protect what they're working on, kind of like keeping stuff at bay while they do their job.
Mm.
And that's, you really see it a lot with the earth elementals more than anything else.
Mm.
Because you'll see it. I know other people have them around in states, but I know that Iowa has the Iowa Mounds, and they're these huge, just gigantic mounds that look like they're all man-made or made by something, but they're made of earth. It almost looks like they can be pyramids of some sort, but they're earth mounds, and they have protectors. I wish I could remember what they were called, but I'm drawing a blank on it right now. But they actually have a name for them. And when I see them, when I feel them, when I sense them, they're not Native American and they're not elementals. They're almost like the missing link in between those two, just like we have a missing link. They're like the next iteration before we went to man, in the spiritual side of things. Yeah.
J Hill says it's like behind the scenes work.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
I don't know about these totem animal things. I've never heard of totem animals. Your Nikki brought it. I was gonna say your wife, but I'm just gonna call her my wife. My wife brought it up earlier. You know,
so okay.
But
my totem animals.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. My totem animals. It's weird because a lot of people, especially in Native American, your totem animals are something along the lines of a wolf and a hawk, and stuff that we have here. My totem animals are actually a rhino, a lion, and a bald eagle.
Why am I not surprised?
Why are you not surprised?
Why am I not surprised? I mean, I'm an owl, nighthawk.
Owl and a crow.
Owl and a crow.
Yeah. Yep.
I would have always thought, like, I always say, like, oh, my spirit animal is like like a lion, a cat. You know what I mean? But I you know,
that's your spirit animal.
Oh, so there's a difference between spirit animals and totem animals.
There can be, or they could be the same. Like my totem animal, my totem animal is a lion, but it's not the same as my spirit animal, which is still a lion because they look different. My spirit animal, my biggest spirit animal, and I mean figuratively as well as physically, is a huge monster blue eyes white lion. Wow. If anyone remembers the movie Narnia, whatever that was,
yes.
That big huge lion, that's what my white lion looks like with piercing blue eyes.
So it's interesting that you say that because you also know me very well, and anybody that watches my show or knows me knows I can, because of my ADD, I can't like really meditate. Like I can't.
I don't either. Nope.
Okay. So really, like the only time I meditation takes place is when I'm, at Little Round Top or Gettysburg, right? My rock, even my background has my rock in it.
It does.
That I lay on.
It does.
Anyway, so shit. Now where the hell is it going with that? Oh my god.
Well, while you're thinking, William, I need to talk to you about that because I'm sure I have more. So, okay. Sorry.
Everybody's like, I definitely need to learn more about this. I know. Hi, Dana. Jay Hill said, ask him what it means when a red dragon shows up.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Jay,
I can remember the question while you're talking.
So the one and only time I was able to meditate.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning, right? So when I was like closing my eyes and this and that, so afterwards, the person that was teaching the class was like, all right, well, what did you say? And I said, honestly, I'm like, I don't even know what it was. I was like, it was this huge bird that was like purple and orange. And I'm like, it wasn't an eagle. I'm
Right?
like, I don't know what it was. And she's looking at me. And I'm like, are you sure? It was like
Like
colorful like
condor?
that? And I said, yeah. Like it was like this huge, like, I mean, like gorgeous, but like almost like a dragon and like type
Was it on? Did you see it from the top or from the bottom? Did you see the under the wings or the top of it?
under. I was like looking up. It was, but because it was so massive.
So could have been a condor.
Well, she thought it was a phoenix.
Oh,
She said, "It sounds
that could have
like
been.
a phoenix." And
Yeah,
I said, "How could a phoenix be? Because it's a mystical."
because you're thinking it's a mythical thing, and you're seeing something mythical in the sky. But what was your mindset at that point? Where you're in your complete comfort, la la. I'm
Yeah,
here
no, I was. It was the only
kicking in the
time.
sun, and
Yeah, it was the only time that I was able to like really like meditate, I guess, without not being in Gettysburg, but like
right.
like being. It was the only time I was able to just my mind literally like I saw this thing. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it was. And I was like, and I was explaining it to her. I'm like, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I said, and then after that, it went away. Then I saw a woman, and purple seemed to be the color because the woman was wearing a purple, something purple, and she had
Right.
real white hair.
Yep.
And she went away, and then I saw a lion.
But it wasn't all purple.
No,
No, it was almost like a sash of purple, like
yeah,
a huh.
yep. And she had white hair, and
And it was long.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I'm interesting how you talk, and I'm seeing the image coming through you. So it's
yeah.
interesting.
And
So
so that yeah, that was the only time that I ever and so, yeah, I don't know what happened there, but those were, like, the 3 things that I saw. And I don't know if I saw the lion because in my head, I think, "Oh, I love cats, so the lion and the cat must be my." You know what I mean? So I don't
right,
know,
right.
that
Well,
was the
and it you can
that
have
was the
more.
only
You
familiar
can,
thing.
but you can have more than one. One more one. Whoa, slower in English. Had to rewind. You can have more than one spirit animal. You can definitely
Right.
have more than one spirit animal. So
But
you may have multiples. And I'm talking to you, and I'm listening to you, and I'm also reading on our side here, but I'm
yeah.
trying to ignore it, but I'm still catching it. Um, and I'm seeing William talk about the fact that this is why you're totem animals and everything else, because you have multiples. So see, it's something that you have. It's just you have
Mhm.
multiples. It's not just one or two.
I
And
just said that the cat thing only because that's the only thing that was familiar to me.
right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's why do I have a blue eyes white lion? That's I've never seen one before in my life outside of when I saw it. I've always said it's been my spirit animal, and I was under the impression it was. And I at one night in a all right, we're gonna go ahead and go into this. When I went to astral project myself, that's where I met him at. I was
Okay,
literally
wait.
was literally
You did this? I wanna do this. I wanna learn how to do it.
so I actually was on a huge and it was a huge mountain top, all white, perfectly still snow. Beautiful blue sky, nothing else in the sky except for blue, with a huge white rock. And then up on top of that rock is where I saw this huge white lion with the blue eyes perched. He
Mhm.
stands up, he walks down, he comes straight towards me. He's basically, I would say face to face, but his face is way up there. And he looks down at me and he kneels. And I pet him. And then when we walk, he walks with me. So
Mhm.
that's how I knew he was one of my spirit animals.
Um, Patty was. Can I say Patty or is it Patricia? I don't know.
She goes by Patricia. She
Oh,
goes by
Patricia.
Trisha as well, though.
Okay. She says, "How do you know what your spirit animal is?"
If you, not all of them are prevalent and all the time around you. A lot of times they are. Some people will notice that everywhere, anytime they drive, there's a red-tailed hawk around them. Anywhere they drive, there's always going to be an eagle. That's mine. There's always an eagle. But sometimes it just comes to you like mine did in a dream. I'll never see that in real life, but it's what you're drawn to, what your sense is that you feel that is what's there to guide you, to give you assistance, to give you help, to guide you in the right path. It's not always going to be a live person who is your spirit guide. Your animal guides are there to do the same thing. So if that's what you were, if you're drawn to it and you feel that is what is guiding you and helping you, Patricia, that's what it is. And like I said, you can have multiples.
Well, that's good because I need all the protection and help and whatever else around me that that I can.
You got me and Mickey. What more do you need?
This is true. Let's see. All right. What is she laughing at? Am I missing something? Oh my gosh. They think they're trying to get me astral projection. Yes, I am. They're trying to say that they're going to petition for me to be mayor of Gettysburg. Okay. Taryn, you should try water deprivation to draw out spirits.
Yes. Have you ever looked at that? Have you ever looked into that? Sensor deprivation?
Is that like kind of like a provoking?
No. It's sensor deprivation. They actually put you in this. It looks like a pod, and it's very heavy water that you can actually just lay back and float in. But it's completely dark, or you can turn on the blue lights or whatever else, so you can have music come in. And it basically brings you to a state, I want to say, of just calmness, stillness, euphoria, whatever it is, and it very much opens you up. And a lot of times people will see colors. They will see their animals. They will be in touch with their spirit guides. It opens them up so much. It's almost to it's equivalent almost to the same state as between your awake and dream state of being open. But it's very calming. You don't have to do anything. The water is so heavy because they make it so heavy that when you lay back, it's almost like you're laying on a waterbed without the cover. You're just floating.
Even though your mind just doesn't shut off, you still kind of.
You will. Your mind will, because it's so black in there. You can't go like this and see your hand in front of your face unless you have the little lights on that you can turn on. Because there's stuff in there. You can turn on the lights. You can turn on the music. But it's very good. And around here they're called float pods. You should check it out. I'm sure they have some.
Oh, you know what? I think they do have stuff like that where they have like all the sea salt around and everything.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, you should go do it for half an hour, 45 minutes. Try it out, and it would be, you'd really enjoy it. I think. It doesn't hurt ever to try it once. The only thing you know is that if you do it and you don't like it, then you never have to do it again.
It sounds like I would love it though. Like I said, I do love water, but I'm also as afraid of it.
But it's not deep enough that you can't. You can. I mean, it's literally right underneath you. You walk into it, and it's not even it's not even to your knees.
Yeah, I don't. When you were talking about water deprivation, I don't know if you answered Darren's question, but
so I will tell you.
I'm going back up to Ejing's question now.
Okay, so Darren, I will tell you the honest to God truth. I only know of water deprivation. My water deprivation is totally different than what other people's are. Other people have done the water tank and everything else in the pods. Mine was literally when I was in the ocean. That was my my sensory deprivation. When I was under and I did the scuba, to me, that's my sensory deprivation. That's my whole different world. I do not think about a thing when I scuba'd. I was just under there. Now, my wife has done sensory deprivation. A couple of our friends have as well. And they enjoyed it very much. They really believe.
Deprivation, what are you doing? Are you substituting something
for what? The sensory deprivation?
Yeah, like the water. Like I don't.
You're just deprived of light and your senses. That's why it's a deprivation. You're putting in a complete blackness.
And then the water does what?
The
same thing. Well, you're saying sensory deprivation and water
Right.
deprivation the same thing?
They're the same thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, well, it can be two different things. Sensory deprivation could also be just blindfolded and having your ears covered, so you're blocking out your senses. Um, that's another form of sensory deprivation, but I know sensory deprivation as outside of water and inside of water. So, blocking yourself off from your sights and your sounds and opening yourself up is.
I mean, I guess that's why people, and I'm not trying to be a pervert, but I'm just saying, some people like that for sexual
Right,
enhancement, you know?
right.
So,
But I think for that it's a rush. I think it's because they don't know what's happening.
but you're still blocking,
Right,
you're not,
right.
if you're
But I,
blindfolded or
right,
you're.
right. But for the spiritual side of it, I believe that it's the sensory deprivation. If you cover your eyes and your ears, like when you see on Kindred Spirit, when Chip always, or when someone always does it on Kindred Spirit, and Chip talks or someone talks and they have the voices come through and everything else. We actually do it on ours as well. Our team, we do the sensory deprivation to a point, and we ask questions. But um, that one and the floating sensory deprivation to me is really similar. The only thing that I like about what I believe I would like more about the floating sensory deprivation is the fact that I'm just floating. I'm not sitting. I'm not doing anything.
Oh my
I'm
God,
just.
I know you're like weightless,
Yes,
right?
right, exactly. You feel
Uh,
like you're weightless. It's just
yeah.
you and nothing. And your mind will shut down and it will start bringing in, it'll start opening up the furthest reaches of your mind to bring in the stuff that's been locked out
Maybe that's what I
that
need to do.
that you maybe want to know about.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like it. That sounds like a good, relaxing, like almost like something I could fall asleep to.
a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Um, so is Jing finally. I hope she's still here.
Hi, Zhang. She
I
hasn't said
love
bye to us
you.
yet. She hasn't said bye to us yet, so that's
She
good.
has not.
So,
Again, if you're just joining us, Jing is from Indonesia, so we are, Paranormal Brew, wherever Paranormal Brew is in Indonesia as well because she's
correct.
watching. She wants to know your views on the opinion that psychic, or in other words, someone has a sixth sense. It is a reincarnation, so they can see the past. How do you think? Does that make sense? I think she's asking if somebody who is psychic, were they reincarnated? Maybe.
Um,
I
I,
think.
I I honestly don't know how to answer this one, and it's simply because there's at some point not everybody has been reincarnated. Not everybody has lived a past life. Someone has to start out new somewhere. You have to be on your first leg of that journey before you move on to your next journey. Uh,
Right.
so I believe that there are people that are born into their first life that can be psychic, but I think it's the development of that ability starting off. So when you do get into your next life and your next life and your next life, you're building on that experience that you had from that first life. They may not completely understand that they have that ability, or they may not
Mhm.
fully understand the level of their ability until they get to their next few lives. Um, so that is so that's my belief on that, Zhang. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
But that's my belief because not everybody. I mean, when whenever you, like I said, everyone has to start somewhere. We've all lived a first life somewhere, um, and people will tell you you had a past life. You had a past life. Well, who has the first life? What
Yeah. Where does it start?
in 2022, one of the babies that's being born in 2022 is at their first life.
Right.
Are they going to grow up to be in their first life and then move on to their later lives
Mhm.
down the road? And that's what that's my belief, is how that works.
Now, do you believe you come back as, so, like, in the Hindu, or the Hindu religion? I guess they believe that. So, like, if, like, Jeffrey Dahmer's probably coming back as a cockroach, right?
Right. He's punishment for what he did in this world.
Right. So, like, is that the same thing you believe? Like, I don't know if I believe in past lives, but I will tell you this. That's why I don't kill anything. I can't kill anything.
Right.
I catch flies in my house and take them outside because I'm like, what if that, and somebody will go to try to kill it. I'll go, what if that's your grandmom?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're like, no,
don't kill it.
No.
I can't even kill a plant. Like, we have like plants here, and they're like, and he's like, I hate that thing. Just put it outside. I'm like, it's gonna kill it. And he's like, it's a plant. I'm like, it's a living thing.
Right, right. It's alive. It has a heartbeat. Damn it.
I can't kill anything. Oh my God. I mean, like, my most feared thing on this planet are roaches, and I'll run from it before killing it. Like, I can't kill anything.
So that's where you and I differ.
I know. Here.
So I saw Rob B3's pop up.
Yes, he wants to know if he'll find. He's asking you.
Rob,
I didn't know you were psychic. You are?
Rob, you will find your true love. I believe you already have, and his name is Bobby.
Oh.
So, another one of our teammates on the Dimensional Encounter Paranormal team. They're very close. I think sometimes Judy, Rob's wife, gets a little jealous of how close Bobby and Rob are. If you ever seen Scrubs, it's kind of like Turk and JD, how close they are.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Oh yeah, that's good. Did I ask you Aaron's question? I think I did.
What's that?
Aaron had a question.
You had a question.
But Jay, I guess I was rude. I apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry. That
was my fault. That was my fault.
Bad too. So Jay, I have had time. So dragons are in many different colors, and I honestly believe if we're talking Asian dragons, if that's what we're talking about, I believe the Asian dragon colors somehow fall within our archangel colors. The yellow, the green, the red, the black. I think those are all protectors or healers or something along those lines. I believe it's the same way with like the Norse dragons because they have the different colors as well.
This is totally, I don't know nothing about this.
And I believe that the color of the dragon is the same as it ties to the color of our archangels. So whatever that purpose is of our archangel, if you tie it to the color of the dragon, it has a similar abilities, similar effect, similar reasoning. So if you're dreaming of a red dragon, then if you went out and looked up the archangel tied to the red, then I believe that would give you a pretty solid answer as far as what it was there for and why it was there as part of your dream or even in your life if you saw it in a meditative state. So that's my belief on that. I don't know if my belief is solid on that, but that is something that I've always believed because I still believe that there is one starting point for all of our different religions, and they've all branched out into different sects because people want to be in control of their own facets or functions or whatever. And so we all broke up, but it all ties back into one belief. So I believe like the red dragon is the same as the red color of the archangels. And if you go into other parts of different religions, you'll notice they all have the colors as well. And I believe they all tie back into whatever that one force is.
My God, how does somebody know all this stuff? That's like, how do you remember like colors and dragon? Like, I'm like, what? Like, I have to focus on one thing at a time, which is probably why I don't know why half of this. I mean,
again,
I've heard of the elementals. I've heard of totem animals.
This is what remember I told you earlier, my mind says, you know this, just talk. This is me just talking. This is just the reassurance that my mind is telling me this is exactly what you are saying is correct. You didn't have to research it. You just know it because you've done it before. So,
Let me see something. Oh, there's a question here. What is your thoughts on 27? See, I don't even, what is this? I don't even know what this is.
Um, this is
27 Club.
this is one that I'm not overly familiar with. So
Never.
Bob's gonna have to you have to bring Bob on a show and talk to him about the 27 Club. I know a little bit about it, but not enough to talk to it comfortably. I also know that I believe that I've also heard, I don't want to say I believe, but I've also heard that when you are when your first life is born, basically in September, and you get 12 lives. And when you go all the way back around to August, that's your last life that you'll live. That's your last reincarnation is your 12th life.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that as well. So unfortunately, I don't know enough about the 27 Club to speak to it. Sorry about that, but hopefully we can get more information on that. That may be something I actually have to research.
So Brian said, not big in religion. If God forgives all his children, why would somebody that was bad in their past life come back as something bad? For example, what Taryn said is a cockroach. Well, I can imagine that Jeffrey Dahmer probably didn't go to heaven, for one. He was probably not, somebody that, repented before he died. But it's a different religion. It's, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're right here. To me, right near here, we're kind of crossing streams.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about God, there's not really a whole lot of talk of reincarnation with God. It's either heaven or hell. So it depends on really what you're talking about, what religion you're talking about, and the statement kind of seems like we're talking two different ends of the spectrum. Oh, thanks, Raymond.
Now that's a conspiracy thing, isn't it? Wouldn't that be like considered a conspiracy?
It's
not really. I guess
it's kind of like the Tutankhamun belief that those who handled his tomb all died in so much time for disturbing his tomb and everything else. So I'm not, like I said, that's something I would want to look up on more as far as the 27 Club. I don't have a good talking point on that. Sorry, not something I have come across before completely that I'm comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, I would just have to say this. If I was like really talented in music, I would wait until after 27 to start my career.
Right.
That's what I would do with that information.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're really good at that. Come on. Like, I got about 6 more years. I'll see you then.
And I kind of want to talk more on Brian's statement. He brought up a little bit. So I have heard different versions of this, and again,
this one? Yeah,
and it really has to do. It really ties to what your belief is. But I've also heard that, and again, this is just hearsay, not something I believe, just hearsay, that one life, like right now, Taryn is in this life as a female. In her next one, she will be a male, and it will alternate as she goes through her different lives. That she will alternate to different genders. Now that's something that very well could be, but that's just something I've heard more recently. I don't know if it's a new age type belief. And yes, very true, William. Not everyone is reincarnated. Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, like, and it's funny because like I can feel my dad around me, but
Right.
I have never, and I was very, very close with my grandmother. I've never felt her around me. I've had mediums tell me that she's been around. I've never felt her. To me, I don't believe that I think that because she was like Roman Catholic. She was such a religious woman. My grandfather passed with, 25 years prior. She never remarried, never dated,
Right.
Love of her life. I think she's happy where she is.
Right. That's the same thing that Nikki went through. She always talks about, I don't feel my grandma around me. Can you feel her? And I said, no. And I believe that's because she went ahead and passed on. She went ahead and went on to wherever she wanted to. Either she's in heaven because she knew that Nikki had enough protection here with other family members that are here to protect her, or she went ahead and said, you know what? I know Nikki's good. I'm going to go ahead and reincarnate into my next life.
Yeah.
And I believe that once that, if it's a, and this is again my belief here, I believe that if you're reincarnated, um, even though that person leaves an essence behind, I can't feel that person once they're reincarnated
Hmm.
because they're living their next life
Right.
out of this life now.
Well, I short story. As short as I can make it. I
This
took
is like
one
Cam who
meeting.
doesn't know what
Yeah.
long story short means.
Yeah.
You didn't like me for that one.
um. So there's a couple things here. One, I either don't feel my grandmother because honestly, me and my grandmother, I was literally we said goodbye. I mean, like I was holding her. I love her to death, and I'm not saying that like
Right,
like
right.
it sucks and I don't miss her, but I was holding her hand. I was singing "Fly Me to the Moon" to her, and literally with the last word, there was a
Mhm.
tear, and that was it.
And she was gone. Yeah,
But she was alive. Also, I mean, like, I was holding her hand. I was up in her face,
right.
and I sang the whole song. And the second that I sang the last word, the tear, and then that was it. Right.
Yeah,
So I either
and that's
I
beautiful. That's like the perfect ending to her.
right. So either I'm just that was we're okay with it,
Right,
and
right.
we're happy.
And to me, that's what that feels. That feels like, like I said, perfect ending. She knows that she knows you're good. You have other people around you to protect, and and so she knew that that was your two closing moments in this life. You're good. She's good. You know that. So she's moved on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
But
believe
I
that.
know, like I know my dad's with me. But I know my dad's with me.
Yeah.
That
Well,
doesn't necessarily mean like he's stuck or anything
no,
like that.
he's
There's
not
still a lot of
stuck.
people.
It's that's
Right.
they can. Not everyone is stuck in a death state, and not everyone is stuck here because they haven't finished stuff. They're here because they want to be.
Right.
They want to be around their loved ones still. They know there's other people waiting for them on the other side, and you got to remember when whatever you move on to in the next stage, there is no such thing as time. Time does not exist.
Right.
So when someone says, "Oh well," if you said something like, "Well, Dad, you can go because you've been here for 50 years," for him, he's like, "I blinked my eyes. Cool, got it. Who cares? I don't have an end of time stage to go to."
Right.
So time is irrelevant to people who have passed on.
Yeah. I think I'm still like. I mean, there's things that they're like when I watch stuff again, TV, but I mean, when they do documentaries about past lives and stuff like that, or people that have been reincarnated, and you got
Right,
these 3-year-olds that can tell you where they lived and
right.
point their picture out and say
Why
like
not?
that. I can't explain that. I don't know how that possibly could happen.
Well, because they
Um,
lived it. So
right. I mean, and I've had people tell me that in every single one of my past lives, me and my dad were together and we had a relationship in some way, shape, or form.
yeah,
Like we always loved each other.
right.
Whether we were brother and sister, whether we were, husband, wife, which it sounds really gross, but
But
like
it's a
it's a
past
past
life.
life.
So
Right.
yeah,
But I'm just saying, like, they're like, you and your father have always been in each other's
right,
life, like
right.
in every life. But
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm 100% completely sold on past life. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah,
don't know. There's some things you can't explain. Like I said, those 3-year-olds,
right.
you
So
know?
what's funny is you posted that one up from Rob B3 that says he's blessed to have his grandma with him, which is funny because we figured that out because I was at his house and I described her standing behind him and giving him a kiss on the cheek, and he was like, "Well, describe her," and I described her, and he goes, "Hold on a second." He runs off and he comes back with a picture, and he goes, "This person, that's her," and he's like, "That's my grandma."
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so we were able to figure out because he knew he had someone in the house, but he couldn't quite figure out who it was, and
Yeah.
then it turned out it was his grandma. So that was really cool for him to know that she's there still and enjoying the house and enjoying the family and enjoying the dogs and all that. So it was very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what, Raymond? I'm just going to put this up here because, yes, actually, I'm not on any meds. I should be, but I'm not. But I mean, like we talked about before the show, I'm like, dude, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to wing it.
Amen.
We talked about a lot.
Raymond, I've told you this before. It's not ADHD, it's meth. Get it right.
um, uh, and his wife Judy saw my grandparents watch him. That's awesome.
Yep.
See, that's good. And Jason, talking about reincarnation, there's no time on the other side. That's why we know people are around for a long time. But
Yeah.
it could be, yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Excuse me, what is this ganging up on me all night?
Wow.
The both of them.
Right?
So, sir,
Yeah.
tell us, we've been on for an hour and a half, so I just want you to
Again, time's irrelevant. Whatever.
What?
That's like I said, time's irrelevant. Whatever.
Right? There is no time. There is no time on this
Not
side.
when me and Taryn talk. There's no time.
Tell us about stuff I never learned from a school book.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
All right. Stuff I never learned from a school book is actually on BB3 TV. I have just now started learning how to kind of build video commercials. So I'm posting those out there as well as the posts.
Yeah, I might hit you up for that.
Oh, no problem. I just figured out, and I built my second commercial already, and I'm all excited about it. But Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book is actually on BB3 on Monday nights. It's on 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain, if you really want to cover all the bases. Overseas, you guys are out of luck. I just know that Jem has it on 17 hours ahead of us. So
holy moly.
There you go. But what the show is designed for is for people who are like me and are just starting to discover their abilities, just trying to find out if they have anything. They get these weird feelings because they see stuff out of the corner of their eyes and they're like, whoa, is that a movement? Or they just get that what Rob B3 calls the chicken skin. You get your goosebumps and everything else because you feel like something's around you. It's for you to come on there and to talk about it. It's to come on to try to learn about what your abilities are, how they work, just a community to talk about it and talk about it freely, because there's so many people that I've talked to that said when they were younger, they would talk about this stuff and they were called a freak, or they were just called weird, and they were just called whatever. And a lot of people have shut themselves down. That's wrong. This is something that should be enjoyed and embraced and celebrated. This is something you've been given. So why would you want to hide that? So the platform really is just to give something for someone to talk about and to enjoy. I have people come on from every walk of life. I have empaths. I have investigating teams. I have shamans. I have authors and storytellers coming up. Monday, I'm actually going to have Patricia McDowell, who's actually on here, and she has a near-death experience that she's going to talk about, and the fact that it has brought about some of her abilities that she wants to talk about. Bill Slevin was on my show. Outstanding. That is true. Bill Slevin's on my show, and he's going to hook me up with a couple of his people he has part of his team. If just also so people want to know, my stuff is also recorded, so you can go back and watch it. It's also on BB3 TV out on YouTube, but it is Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern on BB3 TV.
And Bill will be on my show May 18th, I think, is when we're scheduled. No, May 11th. May 11th.
The week before that.
And so, yeah, you just started on BB, which I love the concept of the show. And you can always stream onto Parapost as well.
Once Brian teaches me how to do that, I will start streaming to Parapost as well. I don't have a problem doing that at all. So my StreamYard allows me to stream to 3 different places, and right now I'm only on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want me to stream to Parapost and Brian gives me a hand there, I'll be more than happy to jump on there as well.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I think you'd be an awesome. Your show is awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So I appreciate you coming on, and I love you so much.
Oh yeah, so everyone needs to understand when I type in to Taryn, it always starts with "Hello, my beautiful friend," because that's so much like a sister to me. It's stupid crazy.
It is.
it's one of those things that, like I said earlier, it's just something that you can just go, yep, we haven't talked to each other for a couple of weeks, but we're going to pick up like it was nothing. It's like I said earlier, it's like I've known her since we were little, and we've never lost touch, and we just came right back up and started talking again like it was nothing.
For sure.
And hold on, you can't leave yet.
Oh my gosh, yeah, where's my wife? Hi, wifey.
Hi, wifey.
Oh my gosh, look at her. She gets cuter every time I see her.
Whatever. Hi.
This is my wife, Nikki.
Hi, everyone out there.
This is my better half.
I'm so happy to see your face. I was really gonna I didn't know that you should come on the shows with them. You were chiming in and knew a lot of stuff.
Nikki's actually an empath.
And I've heard more, but I don't know.
Yep, we're gonna talk to somebody who has told her that she is more than just an empath.
But now you do the show with him though too, don't you?
No. We're on the
show.
We're both on the Dimensional Encounters Paranormal Investigation team.
Weren't you on wasn't she on one of your shows?
No.
What am I thinking?
Yes, our whole
must have been dreaming about you then, Nick.
Yeah, we did the whole group, the Dimensional Encounter Paranormal group.
Oh, that must have been.
So she was on there.
Yeah.
So good night, William. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you later, brother. But yeah, she's been on there. But normally she's just kind of behind the scenes. You hear her laughing whenever comments come.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Listen, anytime you're on or I'm on you, like what I want, she can.
So to speak.
Oh my God. Whoa. Which, by the way, me and April will be on your show March 7th.
You guys are on my show March 7th. Yes, I already have a bookmarked and ready to go.
It's going to be
I have built everything for that one. So
that's going to be a show, boy.
Oh my goodness, that's just so the audience who knows, I have never been on with April. I have talked to April a couple times just through chat. But I have seen April and Taryn on together. I don't think I'm going to get a word. This is going to be me. Let's go.
No, Nikki's going to come in. It's going to be a Springer girl night, and it's Nikki's going to be the one.
Right? Nikki's going to be sitting right here, and I'll be the one laughing in the background outside. So, but yeah.
I don't know. Darren's asking if you guys have time during the day. I do a paranormal question of the day on YouTube. Awesome.
Oh,
thanks. Yeah, I didn't know that, Darren.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Darren, if you want, you can share it to Paranormal Brew's page. Share whatever you have. And definitely I'll get it out there for you. For sure. All right. Well, we had like a really, really good show. Like this was like great. I still want to we'll have to rebook and talk about all this stuff again.
We always do. I mean,
know.
We always come up. The problem is whenever you and I do a show together, we always find out much more that we need to keep talking about at another time. So
yeah, for sure. And Najing is still with us. So good thing. Cause you know,
yay.
She said, this is a great sharing. It's not just what Tom and Taryn said about animals, but I seem to receive good energy to carry out my teaching activities today, which I'm almost bored since yesterday. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, that's good, Zhang.
Well, it's always good
to see good energy.
It's always good to see you joining us. I love you. You know that. But thank you, Tom.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you, Nikki.
You're so welcome. I did so much.
I just want to squeeze her. I just but I look forward to coming on your show for sure. And I love that you're a part of BB3 TV.
Thank you.
And I think that you're, pivotal in our community. And I think your show is going to really do a lot for people that are just starting out. And that's like the biggest thing,
That's why it's built. I want nothing out of it except to help others. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what they need because they're young kids. And, I say this all the time, what they see on TV is what they think is how it is. They don't know any better.
Can I throw something else out there?
Absolutely.
My show is live Monday nights, but if you cannot be on the show, but you have questions, type them up and send them in. and I will get them on the air and also if I don't have an answer, I have a huge team, not just my Dimensional Encounter Paranormal team, but obviously I have people like Taryn and Darren and Brian and Dustin and Dom. I mean, anybody that I can reach out to help answer these questions. So if I don't have the answer, like I didn't have the answer tonight for the 27 Club, I'm definitely going to research that, but I can reach out and ask those questions to try to get you as much help as I can.
Are you talking about my Darren?
Darren Buss?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know you guys knew each other.
I do now.
We're online.
Oh, I thought you said because I thought you said part of. I thought you were saying like. So I was like, you're talking about my Darren.
I'm not shy. I'll reach out to whoever I need.
My Darren, like
answers. So
I just say that because
he's selfish about this.
I just say that because he's been a lifer of the brew, so that's why I say my Darren.
Yeah.
Just like a Zhang, I would say my Zhang because like she's been here, right. she's been a brew lifer.
She's reached out to me offline too.
Yeah, so absolutely, and I love it. I love that.
Happy I was able to help her too. So
yeah, for sure. But yes, so thank you so much. Everybody seems to have enjoyed it, and I love it. And thank you for spending time with me.
Always.
Yep. And I will see everybody next week, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And who do you have coming up?
I have Patricia McDowell coming on Monday, 7 p.m. Central on my show, right here on on BB3 TV, on Facebook and on YouTube. I've already been posting out on the BB3 TV as far as what we're going to be talking about or what she has coming up. She wants to talk a little bit about. She's very excited about it. She's an introvert, but obviously I will not allow that to happen. So questions will get pulled and answers will get told and all that wonderful stuff.
I want to say something really quick. Ross, can I just announce what we talked about on my side of things, not your side of things, but I'm going to wait for him to answer. But Paranormal King Radio Network, I've been on for a while, and unfortunately, things have to slow down for Ross. And this is my last show on Paranormal King Radio Network. Made me cry before the show. So right before the show, I'm like I was telling Tom, I'm like, oh, I got to get out of this because it hit me pretty hard. I understand totally 100%, but right. He's and Ross is a good friend of mine. So just because I'm not on his radio network anymore doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk to him. But it's just sad not to have that relationship there, But I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you have done for me because he really helped me out a lot.
So Ross, thank you for letting me be the last guest on Taryn's show on Paranormal King Radio.
Yes. Good. Awesome. So awesome. So everybody go. Hopefully you'll be on Power Post. I'll
have to reach out to Brian on how to get all that set up, but sure.
Yes, absolutely. And then just so for anybody else who wants to know, tomorrow night there's a telethon that I'm going to be a part of. And it's all the proceeds go to a local animal shelter. There's a guy that does autographs for pooches. He does an annual event every year in Michigan, and I can't go to that obviously, but he's having a telethon. I'll be on there for like 10 minutes just talking to try to help to raise money. I made my own donation to it. So I wouldn't ask anybody else to donate, but I'm a huge animal lover, and it's really important. So anyways, if you guys want to, I shared it. Again, it's for autographs for pooches, and it'll be a telethon tomorrow, 8 to 11 or something, for myself. And then next I have a couple shows I'm going to be on. Oh, and then I have Tim Mail coming on next week. So before his thing. So there you go. Yep. Oh, thank you. All right. On that note, did you want to talk after?
Sure. I can hang out.
And thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. God bless. See you guys next week. I hate that it takes so long to get